Welcome, replay viewers. Thank you for joining the broadcast this morning. Be sure to invite your followers. Share this broadcast out on Twitter and Facebook. And tap that screen for hearts. Welcome to this morning's divorce devotion. Good morning, everybody. Great morning. Give people a moment to come into the broadcast. Hey, Nancy, good to see you. Good morning. Come on in. Great morning to you. Thank you for inviting your followers. Good morning, everybody. It's Your Worth It Wednesday here on the Morning Divorce Devotion. Come on in. Hey, Kimlin. Welcome to the broadcast this morning. Good morning. Come on in, you guys. Tap that screen for hearts. Welcome. Great to have you here. K Guy, USA. Welcome to the broadcast. Come on in. Come on in, you guys. Tap that screen for hearts. Tap that screen. Welcome from Yakutsk. Where's that at? Come on in, you guys. Good morning. Thank you for tapping that screen. Just a few more minutes. We're going to jump right into the broadcast. I'm going to do several broadcasts on today. That's fine. Thank you so much for popping in. I appreciate it. Hey, Anita, great to see you. Good morning. Come on in, you guys. Hey, Keith, good morning to you. Great to have you here this morning. Come on in. Good morning. You guys come on and tap that screen for hearts. Just a few more seconds. Hi from Dubai. Great to have you here this morning. You do have to say, have a great day too, Nancy. God bless you. Thank you for inviting your followers. Yeah, America's good. What can you say? Nothing's perfect. This is what it is. All right, we're at the 3-minute mark. Well, welcome to this morning's divorce devotion. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Andrea M. Stuckey. I'm the founder of Live Life Love Coaching, Divorced Women Unite, and the Divorce to Destiny Academy, where we help women rebuild, redefine, and liberate their lives following separation and divorce. I am your divorce liberator. I'm a life coach, speaker, and I'm also the author of 3 amazing books: Suddenly Single, a woman's spiritual and practical guide to the first 5 years following separation and divorce. Picking up the pieces after divorce. Hold on, let me get my books. Hang on, y'all. Let me get my books here. Let me get my books here. All right. So you got Suddenly Single, you have Picking Up the Pieces After Divorce, Working Through the Healing Process, right? You got to get your ads in here. And Liberation Journal for Divorcees, 90 Days to Renewing Your Personal Freedom. And you can pick up a copy of all 3 of those books on Amazon.com. And shortly, within the next week or so, I will be releasing my 4th book. I'm part of an anthology. I'm a co-author in a book, A Brand New Me, The Pursuit to Wholeness. Brand New Me, The Pursuit to Wholeness. So be on the lookout for that book. Pre-orders have already taken place. If you're interested in purchasing a copy, connect with me. Or if you're following me on other platforms of social media, I don't have a direct link available for you right now, so I can't give you that link. But if you're following me, just look around. You'll see some opportunities to purchase over on Instagram, over on Facebook, and in my Facebook community. So welcome again. Welcome So welcome to Free Life. Hey, Fred955, welcome. Great to have you here this morning. It's a You're Worth It Wednesday. That's what I call it. A You're Worth It Wednesday here on the Morning Divorce Devotion. I want to talk to you today about 4 barriers to self-esteem. And for those of you who are new to me, I always like to just share, who I am. So not only am I a life coach, speaker, and an author, I've also been divorced myself in my mid-20s and in my early 40s. And I know what that journey is like. In both of those situations, I had to rebuild my life from the ground up. And so I know what infidelity, going through infidelity is like, being abandoned. I know about abuse on every level. I also know about rejection, shame, and guilt that carries a weight in our lives, especially as a believer, as a Christian. And so I just want you to know that I know where you are. I know the journey that you're taking, that you're currently taking. And I've been out of my second marriage for 8.5 years. So I like to give a timeline. When people are not familiar with me, they can, kind of have a timeline of who I am, where I've been, what I'm doing, and what this platform is about. And so if you're new and you're joining by replay, make sure you go back and check the plethora of replays that are available to you. I've been on the platform about 2.5 years, close to 3 years, I believe. And there's over 500 broadcasts. I think they keep the last 100 available to the public. So go ahead and, hey, the real DC, I haven't seen you in a while. Great to have you here this morning. Take a look at those replays. We talk about all things separation, divorce, relationships, God, and we like to have a lot of fun here as well. So if you tap that screen, I want to begin a series today. I'm going to actually pop on today 4 times today, so you guys keep your notifications on, because I want to get through these 4 barriers to self-esteem. And I want to have a positioning where I could actually talk about each of these barriers. And so let's get it done today, okay? So tap that screen for hearts. We're going to just begin the 4 barriers to self-esteem. And this is so vital and important because oftentimes in long-term relationships and in marriages, people lose their self. They lose their identity, especially women. You lose your confidence. You lose your ability to make sound decisions. And you just really don't feel good about yourself. If you've gone through, hey, Chosen Road 5566, welcome to the broadcast. If you've gone through infidelity or some level of betrayal, it really does something to who you are. You begin to see yourself differently, or you feel differently about yourself, because there's a level of rejection in that, right? And people don't like to talk about it, but it's very real. It's very real. And if you've been betrayed, it makes you think that initially it makes you think that there's something wrong with you, that someone didn't want you, someone picked someone else over you, right? And you have to understand that it's not about you. You have no control over someone else's choices and decisions and their level of betrayal or whatever that may be that they choose to exhibit in a relationship. We are only responsible for ourselves. And that's why it's so important that we continue to pour into ourselves and build yourself up as you're going through this journey, and be honest and open with yourself. And, I had, we're in the 3rd week of my Divorce to Destiny Academy. It's a 12-week program. And we were talking a little about these things last night, is that what happens is when you go through this transition, it really does something to your core. And you have to begin to pull out the real you. Who was that person you were years ago? Where did you start to deviate on your path? Where did you start to put your dreams, goals, and aspirations on the back burner? When did you begin to feel that you weren't confident? When did that begin to happen? And so let's talk about some major barriers, okay, to healthy self-esteem, the things that are holding you back from building up that self-confidence, from feeling really good about who you are in this space, in this journey of life. So you guys come on in. Let's see that screen. I know you guys are live here. Go ahead and tap that screen for hearts. It keeps me motivated. It gives me energy. And we are on a time. We're on a little time crunch this morning, but we're going to make it happen, okay? We're going to make it happen. So again, welcome to the broadcast. We're talking today about 4 barriers to healthy self-esteem. So these are the things that keep you from having a healthy self-esteem. Hey, Real One 5150, great to have you here this morning. Welcome to the Periscope atmosphere. It says that this is your first day on Periscope, and so I appreciate you jumping into my broadcast for your first Periscope run, so to speak. So listen, I always start with a quote or scripture, and I want to start with this. Oh, great to have you. We're talking about the 4 roadblocks to healthy self-esteem. It's not what you are that's holding you back. It's what you think you are. It's not what you are that's holding you back. It's what you think you are. There's nothing more important than how you think and feel about yourself. Nothing. How you feel about yourself translates into all your relationships. Your work relationships, your family relationships, your romantic relationships, your relationships with your children. It is relevant. And so one of the things that happens is, when you go through these challenges and you survive maybe abuse, a lot of women, and men can be abused too, they can be emotionally abused. Abuse has its own dynamics because ultimately the goal, conscious or subconscious, goal of the abuser is to control, manipulate, right? And in that process, it does something to the person who's being abused. Hey, Elise 340, welcome to the broadcast. Now, you guys have to tap the screen for hearts. I know you're live here. Come on, come on. There we go. And they're purple. Beautiful, beautiful. Right? So self-esteem is your confidence in your own worth and in your own abilities. And so what I see a lot in my coaching practice is a lot of women have a challenge making the transition to believe in themselves again, making the transition to try something they've never done, making the transition to really pursue the thing that they've wanted to do for years, and they get kind of stuck. Well, that's true. Abusers, well, no, I take that. No, they do have control. They have choices. And it doesn't mean that there's not some history behind an abuser's behaviors. Perhaps they were abused. It could be a cycle. But we're not going to give them a pass. Because as adults, we are responsible for our own lives. And it is our responsibility to recognize what our errors, our challenges are in life. And it's our responsibility to get help for that. Point blank, period. So yes, we can, we can understand some of that history, but they do have control. We all make choices. We have control over our lives. I understand what you're saying, over themselves. They do have control over them. Let me make sure I understand what you said. The abuser doesn't have control over themselves. They choose not to have control. So let's be clear. As adults, we get to make choices every single day. We do. And so we're not giving them a pass for not being in control or not having self-control. We're adults. We have the ability to control our actions. And when we have challenges in our life, it's our responsibility to get the help that we need. So if you have uncontrollable anger, it's your responsibility to get help for that. If you're what's another area? If you're suffering, right? We know that we can have mental issues or challenges, depression, or situational depressions. It's our responsibility to get the help that we need. We're responsible for our lives. And we can't push these things off and blame other people. And this is what happens, and this is what happens. I don't know who this is. And this is what happens. The blame game. Let me blame it on my mother. Let me blame it on my father. Let me blame it on the family or the environment that I grew up in. Yes, we understand that they're relative, but the responsibility is ours. Point blank, period. So we do. And so what we're talking about here is abusers and what happens to the person who's been abused and how their self-esteem can diminish over time. And it's almost like a wood block that's chipped away. So the longer you've been in an abusive relationship, kind of more of those pieces that have been chipped away. So if this is you today and you're watching live or you're watching by replay, I want you to just, think about some of the things that I'm mentioning here. I do have a program that's coming up, a group coaching program that I offer several times a year. I think I offered it twice or 3 times last year. Very successful program called Rebuilding the Inner Me, Building Healthy Self-Esteem After Divorce. It's a 4-week group coaching program that will start on Thursday, February 7th. Early bird registration is, I've extended it until tomorrow at midnight. And so you can click the second link here in the bio to get all of the details. I believe there's some testimonials from some women who participated in that as well. And sign up. Do something for yourself. Get around some other women. Share, grow, start to walk a different path in your life. No woman or man is an island. And oftentimes when we go through the situation and transitions of divorce, we're afraid. We're afraid of what's next. We're afraid of trying something new. We're afraid of dealing with our feelings. We're full of fear. Right? And what the enemy does is he uses that to isolate you and keep you stuck. But when you get around other women who are of similar spirit and mindset and who are going through what you're going through, then it makes the journey easier in a way. It really, really does. And it makes you see what you're dealing with in a different light. Some people that have a problem sometimes don't think they have a problem. They think that it's normal. That's true. You're still responsible. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Hey, Maurice Bledsoe, welcome to the broadcast. Good to have you here this morning. You guys tap the screen for hearts. We're talking about 4 barriers of self-esteem, and I'm going to talk about barrier number 1 on today. Let me continue to move through my notes, right? Many times after surviving the challenges and trials of a divorce, you may have lost or forgotten who you are, and you have forgotten what's inside of you. You have forgotten that God has given you gifts. You've forgotten that you have specific talents that maybe some other people don't have. And you've put those things on the back burner. And when we're not operating in our gifts, when we're not operating in our purpose, when we're not utilizing the talents that we have, it's very difficult to find joy and peace and happiness, because these are the things that are unique to us. Right? And so when you begin to recognize and pull these talents and gifts out, then you're in a very different space. You're in a very different space. So what I want to talk about today specifically, one of the main barriers to low self-esteem is shame. 1 second, you guys. I just hear. Hold up. Hold the line. I just hear some noise. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Gotta make sure things are right. It's shame. Shame is such... Yeah, I'm back. Oh, you're back. You're back or I'm back? Hey, Katie, VC, DLC, welcome. You guys come on in. I got to put some humor in there. Tap that screen for hearts. We're talking about the 4 barriers to self-esteem today. And the number 1 barrier is shame. Somebody say shame. Shame holds us back. Shame is what we feel when we've done something wrong. Right? So shame is a painful feeling of humiliation or distress caused by our consciousness of something that we've done wrong. And as believers, this is huge when we're facing a divorce, because for many of us who really take marriage and the covenant seriously, we never thought we'd find ourselves in that space. Right? And so when you find yourself in that space, you feel condemned. You feel shame. And it's very difficult to feel good about yourself when you have the weight of shame, on your shoulders. And so what we have to understand is this, that there's nothing that can separate us from God. We don't have to carry the weight of shame. We can ask God for forgiveness. A lot of times we just simply have to forgive ourselves for any mistakes, for any things that we've overlooked, for any behaviors that are not, positive in the eyesight of God. Welcome from Russia. Great to have you here. Listen, if you guys are just jumping in, make sure that you're tapping that screen for hearts. Make sure you're sharing the broadcast out on Facebook and on Twitter. Welcome again. Welcome. I see people popping into the broadcast. Thank you so much for being here. We're talking about the 4 barriers to healthy self-esteem. This is an area that many men and women, but especially women, have a challenge after a separation or divorce. And for this broadcast, we're focusing on shame. one of the number one reasons why it's difficult to pick up the pieces of your life, begin to feel good about yourself, because you're still stuck on some mistakes and poor choices that you made, and you feel this weight that you're carrying. But I want to tell you today that there's no condemnation, that God still loves you. God can still rebuild your life. God can still use your gifts and talents. God has a will, plan, and purpose for your life. And so if you are, I do write books. I have 3 of them, and I have the 4th that's going to be released within the next 2 weeks. I do. You missed the commercial. It was at the beginning of the broadcast. So go back and watch the replay, and you'll see a copy of all 3 books, and you can pick them up over on Amazon.com. Right? So this is very, very important. There is nothing more important than how you think and feel about yourself. And as you navigate, begin to navigate your journey for 2019, as you begin to kind of position yourself as a single, for those of you who are just walking along the divorce journey, this is foundational for you. You've got to heal the broken cracks. You've got to take a look at the broken cracks and see what's happening beneath the surface. What caused you to feel this way? Okay? And you want to begin to focus forward and create a life that you want to lead. And I'd like to help you navigate that space and how to get there. That's what I do as a coach. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. I say it all the time because I think it's so relevant. Hey, Miss Audrey, great to see you. The champ. Good to have you here. It's pretty much nonfiction, and it's around divorce, okay? Because I am a divorce coach, and those are usually the topics that I speak on, okay? So the books are Suddenly Single, Picking Up the Pieces After Divorce, and Liberation Journal for Divorcees. Right? So having a healthy self-esteem is vital to this next season of your life, to this next journey. And do yourself a favor. Start working on that. Whether you work with me, whether you get a counselor, whether you get another coach or therapist, whatever you do, don't just sit back in inactivity. Don't just sit in inactivity. Nothing's going to change if you don't take action. Right? And I just suggest that you do it in a positive environment with someone who loves and supports you. I want to achieve a legacy of greatness in the mixed martial arts game, and I will. You will. You have to speak it. I'm not sure what that has to do with this program, though. Do you need a life coach? Do you need a life coach? Hey, Hazard01. Oh, amen. He is that. He is that. No question. Just thought I'd ask you. Good. So here we go. We're just talking today about the 4 barriers to healthy self-esteem. The number 1 barrier is shame. And I just want to, let you know today that that's a weight you don't have to carry. There's no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus. You are a child of God. You are a child of the King. And, we talk here all about forgiveness. And sometimes you simply have to forgive yourself. If you are interested in a free prayer of forgiveness, if you maybe don't know the language, maybe you're not really sure how to communicate to God, or how to not only ask yourself for forgiveness or forgive someone else, I have a free prayer of forgiveness, and you can pick up a copy of that prayer. You can download it at bit.ly/prayer of forgiveness. bit.ly/prayer of forgiveness. If somebody could type that, that'd be great. But I just want to make that available to you if this is an area that you find yourself challenged in. So if you're just joining, if you're new and you're not following me, make sure you hit the 3 dots in the bottom right side of the screen so you can come back for parts 2 through 4 on today of the 4 barriers of healthy self-esteem. Thank you, Anita. You guys can screenshot that. You can go to that website right there, and you're able to download that prayer of forgiveness. You can screenshot it. You can print it out. You can do whatever you need. But that's a huge piece on the journey of divorce recovery. Forgiving others and forgiving yourself. And we have to be very careful about the weights that we're carrying in our lives. So anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns for me today regarding Self-Esteem regarding the Rebuilding the Inner Me program, a group coaching program. We do have two parts of that program. We call it RIM in my community. So there's RIM 1 and RIM 2, but RIM 1 will be offered beginning February 7th. On 4 consecutive Thursdays, and it's on a platform, an online platform, a live platform, and so that's how we teach and train and coach, and the women just have some really great experiences and some really great results from that program. So I'm always super excited to teach it. And if that's you and that's a need, click the second link here in the bio. If you need a consultation, a discovery session, if you're not sure where you're headed on your divorce journey and you'd like some insight and some clarity, then sign up for a divorce discovery session. You can go to the first link in the bio here, and that will take you to my calendar where you can set up a discovery session, a laser session, or a one-on-one session. So whatever your need is, I'm available here for you. And so be sure to click those links and check out all of that information. Make sure you're following me on all platforms of social media. I am on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, here on Periscope. I have a podcast also. So listen, stay connected. Especially over on Instagram, divorce_coach7, divorce_coach7. That's Twitter, Instagram, and here on Periscope. And if you're looking for a private, safe space of other separated and divorced women, you can go over to the Facebook search bar and type in Divorced Women Unite. I have a Facebook community there, about 150 women, and it is a beautiful space. Hey, Elegant Granny, great to see you. Great morning to you. I hope that you're doing well. So again, if you're interested in that group coaching program, Rebuilding the Inner Me, click the second link here in the bio. Early bird registrations ends tomorrow night at midnight. Hey, great to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for inviting your followers. Anybody have any questions for me, comments, concerns regarding self-esteem, regarding moving on, any divorce questions at all? I have a couple of minutes. Thank you for sharing the broadcast out. I appreciate that, Elegant Granny. God bless you. And let me just give you a scripture while we're waiting. Hey, Doctors Mac. Welcome to the broadcast. So Isaiah 54 says this: Fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, no, neither be confounded. I can't read my own handwriting. I'm sorry, you guys. Neither be confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame. For thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth. We're going to leave it right there. I can't read it. I'm sorry. And I don't have my glasses on. This is terrible. Forgive me. Charge it to my head and not to my heart. But the word tells us, fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed. Listen, we don't have to carry the shame and the guilt of this journey. It's time to focus forward. It's time to move forward. Listen, not negating any of the pain. And you guys are all in different seasons. But many of you have kind of been on this journey for a minute. And you're still looking back at the past. You're still focusing on the past. You're still, thinking of the memories of the past. And it's time to sort of shift your focus. First of all, put the focus on you and rebuilding your personal life. Rebuilding, reevaluating yourself. Rediscovering yourself. We can take this negative situation and turn it into a positive situation, a positive journey that you get to control, that you get to create this new life for yourself, and perhaps if you have children as well. So listen, I'm going to wrap up there. I don't see any questions, comments. Thank you so much for the heart love. If you just joined in the last 5 or 10 minutes, make sure you go back and watch the whole entire broadcast. I'm going to be on for point number 2 of the 4 barriers sometime today, probably in a couple hours or so. So make sure you keep your notifications on, because I will be back to share some more. This is a very important topic. It's a great way to kick off the new year. I have the program beginning next month in a couple of weeks. And so if you choose to be a part of that, that would be wonderful. But this is foundational for you as you're beginning a new season and a new journey in your life. Nothing's more important than how you think and feel about yourself. So listen, I'm going to wrap up there. Stay encouraged. Keep your notifications on. As I always tell you, no matter what the situation or the circumstance is that you're facing on today, God is always with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Stay and be encouraged, And I will see you on the next broadcast, so keep your notifications on. I love you much, and I'll see you then. Bye.